Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Having a little ride today, the first proper ride really since I have received my P plates. So it's 3 weeks. I don't know how I'll go. I've been a few days laying in bed because I just haven't been well. But still headachy. But I said to Tom this morning, how about we go for a ride to the beach? So I said, well, we can have a walk on the beach. If it's hot enough, we can have a swim. So we're going to one of our closest beaches called Willow and probably Mini Water. And now I don't know where he is, so there he is. Yeah, so it's a nice day. Probably come up windy later on and I'll regret not bringing a warm jacket. But for the moment the sun is shining, the humidity's setting in, so we'll see how we go. So as we go along, if I see something that looks interesting, I shall record it and let you know about it. But failing that, it's, probably not much of great interest to you. We're about to head out onto the highway shortly, heading towards Coffs Harbour, and then we shall do a left turn heading towards Walleye. I just want to say, we've just turned off to the Walleye roads, but nothing exciting. But an observation that concerns me, well, not an observation, something that I tend to do when I shouldn't, because it's very judgmental, but I've just realised when you have your L's, it's sort of like a little safety thing. People go, well, she's on her L's. They're on their L's, give them a little bit of a wide berth, make allowances, be kind. You tend to do that, don't you? Well, I do. Admittedly, if you're in a hurry and you go, oh, bloody hell, I'm stuck behind an L-plater. But, and then I've got my P's and I feel, I'm out here, I've got my P's, a little bit cocky and confident, or not too cocky, but at the same time, when I'm going along in a car and there are P-platers that come zooming around me, or, doing the speed limit, oh, bloody typical P-plater, look at that, P-platers, yeah, look at that, there's a P-plater. And that's how people will now perceive me, if they think the way I do, which is not very nice. All the thoughtfulness has gone out the window towards me because I no longer have the L plate on. I've got a P plate on. So I'm possibly a smart ass. And to all you P-platers out there, no, I don't think you're all smart asses. It just seems to be a thing that we all do if we see a P-plater flying past us, going over the speed limit or creeping up behind you, or they're always ever so keen to get around you. And no, they're not all like that, but that's how it's perceived. And so now I'm thinking, well, that's how I'm going to be perceived. I'm going to have people up my backside, Oh, look at this, she's a P-plater. She could be going a bit faster. So while it's great to have your Ps, gosh, I might get picked on. But I certainly, I'm speed limited. I can still only do 90. So hopefully they all know the difference between the red and the green Ps. And that I'm speed limited. And hopefully they still go, give her a wide berth. Feel sorry for her. That's all I want to say for now. Anyway, I'm going to switch off again until we come to something exciting, because at the moment we're just seeing dry, dead land. We're coming into Willow now. Well, soon, not right now. Yes, it is a big lake over there. I don't know the name of it. I've forgotten. It was quite a nice ride here. We went through a place called the Pillar Valley. There's a few houses. And Woolai, for those that have never heard of it, is a non-commercial beach, so you don't have much there by way, you don't have shopping or, you have a shop. They do have a club, but I don't think there'd be a lot of nightlife. So it's not really, I know young people like to go there and swim and surf and whatnot, but it's probably not for a younger generation if they want a wild nightlife. Oops, there was a snake. I think it was dead. Poor thing. I can feel a change in the air temperature now, getting closer to the coast and the surf, a little bit cooler. So up here on the right there's a lovely caravan park. I've never actually stayed here. But I believe that it is very, very nice. There's also the hotel motel in the caravan park, but I do know people that have stayed, and I think there's the river down behind there. There's some nice cabins. So one day we should bring our van and stay here, I guess. I can't see any caravans, all I'm seeing is cabins. I think it's a caravan park. Mobile library. So a lot of little beach style houses, but they'd be worth a fortune now. Now, I think there's a big grounds on the left up here. They have a market, well they did, and we used to participate, but we don't do that anymore. But they they also have an annual event, and it's called goanna pulling. And Yes, call me an idiot. I thought, oh, that's cruel. I used to think that they were pulling real goannas out of the ground or something. But I've never actually witnessed the event. It's just humans. Nothing to do with goannas. And one of these days I must come along and watch the goanna pulling so that I'll know what they actually do. It's a good place to come when it's really, really hot and have a swim. Plenty of little places for children to swim, not necessarily just to surf. Bowling club. Looks like it must be low tide at the moment. And there they are out having their bowls. I haven't reached that stage yet. I don't know that I ever will. I don't fancy standing in the hot sun bowling a ball. But I respect those that do. This here is like a council caravan park. Holiday park they call it. But there's a lot of permanents here. And that's a nice spot too. Very basic, but walking distance of everywhere you need to be. There's low tide, there's just the mud flats there. There's like a walking track there, a bike track. It's not one of the beaches when I was younger that I used to come to. I used to go, when I lived here, we're at the beach all the time, hence why I have skin cancers. Willow's not one that I would come to on a regular basis. I used to go to Yamba quite a lot, Yamba and Angowrie. Yamba's quite commercial. It has a McDonald's and all of that sort of, and shops. Very trendy. Very busy. But Woolli's a little bit more laid back. But that's nice that they've got that walking and bike track there. Well, there's a jogging track for that man there. He's jogging. Better man than myself. Marine rescue there. The school holidays have just finished, so it's not as busy as it would have been this time last week.
Hi chaps, I'm going to call this the end of part one. It's been getting a bit long now and I don't want you to have your eyeballs glaze over. Look, I'm going to try and put the drone up here, get a bit of footage from above to give you a bit of an outlook of this river mouth and what have you. If you come back for part two, if you can handle it, and there is drone footage, you know that I was successful, but if not, there's a drone in the bottom of the river and you can go look for it. It might still be okay. Alright guys, thanks for watching, really appreciate it. Catch you in part two.